And good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, depending upon where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, the love activist, and I am the founder of the Love and Stuff community. And I'm excited for those of you that are joining us as we springboard from the Love and Stuff community page and the Inside of Love and Stuff group, as well as on the Marcus Our Homes page here on Facebook, which was down for some hours yesterday. And via Restream, we are live on Twitch TV, YouTube events. So if you're on any or all of those platforms, click share and tag someone to join us in today's discussion. I hope that you are having a wonderful week wherever you are as we're into the month of October. Seems like it jumped right on us. And so whether you're in sunny weather or stormy weather, cool or hot, drop in the comments that you are enjoying this autumn weather if you are, and click share and tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, Twitter friends, or YouTube friends, 5 of your more popular ones. And we'll be so grateful and thankful for you to share this with them. This is one of our shows that we do on Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time every week. And it wouldn't be a show without you and your friends. So please invite them and have them join into what are some interesting topics. Sometimes they are straight from the inbox. Tonight's topic is from one of our Love and Stuff community members, some content that he shared that I thought would be of great interest to you. So if you want 7 things that every man needs, I want you to make sure that you click share and tag someone. You can also click the bell notification at the top of the Love and Stuff page or Marcus Our Homes, right at the top of this live. It will remind you whenever we go live. Now, we don't go live 24/7, but we do go live with things that we think will help you increase the amount of love in the world. And sometimes I'm asked, why are you posting positive things and happy things? Is everything always happy and positive? No. We have life experiences just like you. But there is so much in the world that is negative that we want to remind you that God is love and that he wants to increase the amount of love in the world. I say it like this: God's brand is love. Who he is love. And he wants to increase the amount of presence of his love in the world. Now, what I mean by that is he wants you to be awakened and alert to his love. And then he wants you to sound the bell for others that they will experience that love. And that's what we try to do on these pages. And so that's why I thank you. All right. So if you're inboxing me, I may not be able to respond to that, but I appreciate it. Thank you, Karen. I love this weather. Me too. Cider season. That's what Autumn was just saying. Thank you, Mama V Valencia, who has a wonderful show. The Encourage Ministries show, I'm going to say podcast. You don't want to miss that. She is kicking the encouragement, and we're so grateful to have her in this community. Thank you so much. I kept on some day clothes, I call them. So I thought I'd just, just in case. You never know. Light and love are never too much, no matter what we go through. Spread love and light. I'm telling you. And that doesn't, as I was saying, that doesn't always mean that you are feeling great. That doesn't always mean that you are going through some rose petal experience, but it does mean you get to choose. You get to choose to look to the light. You get to choose to rely on the love to help you get through. And so I thank God for being a God of choice and allowing us to choose. Sometimes we make the wrong choices, right? We choose the wrong decision, or we choose the wrong words to say, or the wrong action to take. But thank God that there is love and grace that God sees before us to provide for us, and he sees what we will need even before we get to that wrong turn. And so light and love, I love that. That might be tonight's hashtag. Thank you so much for that. So click share. Those of you that are joining us, Damari Burns, thank you so much. Whether you are with us, Terry Fairley, okay, thank you so much. Rondell Murray, thank you so much. All of you, click share and tag someone to join us in this discussion. The content is not my content that I'm sharing today. Dr. William Byron Reese, who is, I'll say, one of my love accountability brothers, I'll call him that, shared some information from this gentleman who we'll talk about in a minute, Jason, who wrote a wonderful article. And in part of it, he talks about 7 things all men need in a relationship. And I would just add to that that I believe these are 7 of the things. I believe there are staple things that people need, but there are some other things that men need as well. But I want to share these 7 things because I know there are women that are in relationship with their husbands, their boyfriends, their boo, they bae. There are people in relationship, I'll be honest to say it that way, and they want to increase the love in their relationship, right? And so I think if you're in relationship, whatever the relationship is, friendship, kinship, there are some things that you should know about the men that you're in relationship with. Ladies, we won't be unfair. We'll make sure that we get to what are the 7 things that women want and need in a relationship. We're going to do that a little different. We're going to send out a survey and synthesize your thoughts on that. We want to hear what you say you need in a relationship. And so that's what we want to do. I got all kind of folks joining. Wonderful. I hope you will click share wherever you are around the world. We're happy to have you and happy that you've joined us in tonight's episode 11 stuff. And so this is from an article, and we're going to go through these 7 things that all men need in relationship. Okay. And I want you to chime in. Maybe you agree with them. Maybe you disagree with them. Maybe you will take some notes and say, I'm wondering if I add a little bit of this to my relationships, whether or not this will be good stuff. And if you're a brother, you might say, hey, I recognize I do want more of that. Maybe tonight, when you have that conversation with your wife, your boo, your bae, your friend, you'll be able to articulate that space that's been unsettled where you haven't quite gotten what you've needed. Or maybe you say, none of this applies to me, the love activist, Marcus, but it was good to hear. I think it's good to share. It's information that you should share. You should do what we do in Love and Stuff is let it inform your perspective and see whether or not it moves your perspective to the left or to the right. I believe that our love consideration has to be challenged. I think the world is designed to do that, but I think it's challenged so that it can grow, so that you can increase in the love that you pour out to people. Because remember, it's this love that loved you and I that wants us to love him back so that we can then love ourselves. That's the neglected love, and then love others. And I submit to you, there are tons of us that haven't mastered the self-love, and maybe some that haven't connected to the love, right? But if you don't master the self-love, what you give out might be a little bit differently than what you'd hope to give out. So why not? Why not spend the energy and time in getting this love right and then getting this love right so then you can increase the amount of love in the world, okay? Increase the amount of love in the world. Thank you, Donald Hudson. Wow. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Jim P.W. Bridges. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Willie Rogers. Thank you all. I hope you will click share. Tag 5 of your closest friends, whether they're on Facebook, Facebook, Twitch TV, YouTube events, or whether they're anywhere else, and get them involved in our conversation and discussion. We talk all things love. Today may not be as salacious to some, but I think it's important as we talk about men and brothers. Sometimes we don't talk about what we really need in the relationship. And sometimes then we leave women wondering what we want or need. And I don't think we should leave a woman, I don't think anybody should be left in the lurch relative to wanting to know what you need. But in part, the reality has been that women do a little bit better job of articulating what they need than men do of articulating it. Now, I believe in my heart, brothers and sisters, that men are telling you all the time what they need, but they're not articulating it in a way that you can understand it. And I'll be honest, I believe sometimes we're articulating in a way we don't understand it. It is almost a part of that limbic resonance that I love to talk about. It's in our cell membrane. It's in our emotions. It's from our childhood. It's what we have desired and needed, and we act it out. We behave in a certain way, but we haven't articulated in a way that our partners understand it. And again, sometimes maybe we don't understand it. And so this is yet another hope for everybody who says, I'm in a relationship that could use a little more love. I hope that's everybody. I hope no one says, I've mastered love and there's no more. I hope that there is always the the word that came to me is the yearning to love the people that you are in relationship with more. That's my hope of love for you tonight. Don't stop loving. Don't get to an apex, a pinnacle where you say, that's enough love. But be insatiable in your pursuit of love. Never get enough. Because I believe you could never get enough. And I hope that you will pursue it vigorously. So thank you all for joining us. I see folks joining us. Ken Bodie, I may pronounce that. You have to help me with that. That looks a beautiful name. Please help me pronounce it. Eunice Hunter has joined us. Thank you so much. Jerry Turner has joined us. So let me go into this article. And so this article tells us a little bit about this gentleman's perspective. And again, I want your perspective, okay? I want your perspective on these 7 things that all men need in a relationship. These are 7 things that all men need in a relationship, okay? And if any of them or all of them resonate with you, drop in the comments yes, or drop in the comments no, or put a smiley face, a happy face, a mean face, whatever you feel like emoting about it. First one is praise and approval, which I think those are probably 2 things, but okay. Praise and approval. Okay. And this gentleman, Jason, goes on to say that men have infamously tender egos. I don't know if that's going to surprise anybody. It certainly doesn't surprise me. Men have tender egos. And we need something that most people don't believe. We need frequent reassurance about ourselves, about our career paths, about our efficacy as a partner, about our sexual prowess, and our attractiveness, among other things, he says. Now, some people say, oh, that's the same thing I want as a woman. You'd be surprised. A man might not articulate that he needs this frequent assurance, especially about what his be-ness is, right? Him being a man. So we got to be careful about not affirming the being of a man, right? Because that's important to him. His career path, what he does with his hands or his mind, if he's a knowledge worker, right? So you got to be careful not to say, you in that little job, you in that little trucking business you're trying to get started. He needs you to speak in praise and approval. And I'm sure you probably heard this saying, you look in the mirror to critique. Look out the window to praise, right? So our lives should be filled with praising others and critiquing ourselves, and not the converse, even though that's what the world it's really about, right? We critique others and praise ourselves. Really, we're supposed to praise others. Look out the window. Look in the reflection, to critique, but look out the window to praise, right? So praise and approval. Now, Jason, this writer, says that it might be true that men need relatively less frequent verbal praise than their female counterparts. Don't keep score. Why not just have more of a good thing? Men need praise and approval. They need praise and approval of their partners. They need their partners to be happy with them in the relationship and reassure them that they are. Okay? So let praise loose, Jason says. Tell your man exactly what you find attractive about him. Let him know what physical features of his are your favorites. Tell him how attractive you find it when he says something a certain way, or does something a certain way, or accomplishes something, or when he takes you on a date. I love this part that Jason says. Welcome, Sandra Beavers. He says, praise won't make him cocky. It will help him feel loved. Praise helps him feel loved. And this next thing he says, I think goes for any relationship. The more you praise someone's positives, the more you will see that behavior in them. The more you praise someone's positives, the more they're going to show up in that way. Think about that and add praise to your dialogue. Well, baby, I love the way you walk coming back from that trash. Now, you might think that's funny, but he might be feeling the most manly when you do that. You watching him walk to the trash can and he like, what? Girl, what you want? You're like, I'm just watching you. It builds him up. In the smallest ways, you can add praise into your everyday frequency, into the vibrations of your area, of your home, of wherever you are. Praise. Women do it all the time on the job. They say, oh, you smell so good. What is that? Just makes your chest stand out, doesn't it, brothers? Oh, you just got a haircut? I like it when you get the fade on. Right? Praise. Make that your dialogue instead of the critique. I don't like your haircut that way. You might even rephrase that. You might even ask yourself, is that about me? Does he still look good? You might say, hey, you done something different with your haircut today. Praise and approval is important to him. And wives will say, what might a husband say to you? Which tie should I wear, baby? Which cologne you want me to wear? He's asking that because he wants your approval. Praise and approval are important. Karen says, oh, look in the mirror to critique and out the window to praise. Yep. I'm working on it. I tell you, Karen, it's tough because if you are in any creative art, you look for the blemishes sometimes. But you got to work at looking for the blemishes in yourself first, right? Before we're looking at somebody else. So look in the mirror to critique. Look out the window to praise. Water a plant at its root and watch it grow. Yes. Somebody like that. I love that. Make praise your dialogue. Make it your dialogue in your relationships. An effective way to meet a man's needs in a relationship is to give him praise and approval. He's going for that promotion. You got to make him feel like he can own the company. Right? You got to make him feel like he is your partner and he's doing a good job at being your partner. Okay? The sexual prowess. I won't go deep into that because I think that's a whole nother session, but you know, ladies, how you can make him feel like he is Mandingo. And you got to get to a place where you feel like he should feel like Mandingo, that it would impact his performance. Right? All right. We're going to number 2. Give me some likes or love. If you like this content, I'll make sure I synthesize it. I was going to try to see if I could get Jason on to talk about it, but that didn't work out. And I just didn't want to let this. I think this is a good time because we're going into, which is a Midwest holiday called Sweetest Day. And we want to do some special things around that center more around the brothers and the sisters, not saying that Sweetest Day only belongs to the brothers. And I don't get any, Sweetest Day bonus for doing this. But I want for those that are seeking to improve their relationships. And this doesn't have to be your husband. There are men in your life that you want to have a better relationship with, that you can meet some of these needs. Of course, it wouldn't be the sexual one, right? But in relationships that you're in, giving them praise and approval, okay? And don't withhold praise as punishment. That's right. Come on. All right. If you're just joining us, I hope you will click share and tag some people and click the bell notification so you can be notified whenever Love and Stuff goes live. We are live from the Love and Stuff community page, as well as the Marcus R. Holmes page, the Inside of Love and Stuff page here on Facebook, on Twitch TV, and YouTube events. And we appreciate you, whether you're in Detroit, Michigan, in Texas, in North Dakota, in Indiana, or in Africa. We can't have a Love and Stuff community without you. So thank you for joining us. And I, again, hope you will click, share, and tag 5 of your closest friends or connections, 5 of your more popular ones, to talk with us about the 7 things all men need in a relationship. We're going to number 2. So we did number 1. Which was praise and approval, right? That's number 1, right? Just had to get that in there for those that may watch later. Number 2 is respect. See, not just Aretha, who is one of my favorite singers, by the way. Not just Aretha wanted respect. Men want respect. Okay? Men, Jason says, men feel respect as being equal to love. Think about that, ladies, and think about some of your interactions with some of the men in your life. Men feel that respect is equal to love. So if he feels like you disapprove of him, Jason says, or his career, or the things that he believes to be integral, to who he is as a person, he will have a hard time trusting and loving you. Now that seems like it would be just pretty, basic information. But if you disapprove of him, he feels mistrust, distrust, and disrespect. If you don't believe in his career, if you don't believe in the things he believes in, and I'm adding to what Jason said, and you talk those things down, because women sometimes will emit what they're thinking, right? Men will behave what they're thinking more than they will admit it, say it, right? And so if you're saying you should quit that job, that you spend too much time with that, you this, that, and you talk it down, it builds a mistrust with him. If she doesn't respect who I am at my core, then how can she really want what is best for me? So if a man's partner doesn't respect his path or mission in life, Jason says, then he will find it very difficult to feel other than an anxious need to distance himself from her. Okay? So your sex might be bomb. I know if Autumn is here, she's covering her eyes right now. Your sex game, I was going to say another word, might be the top. And he might consume every bit of it. But he won't let you go beyond that because you have been disrespectful to his personhood in some way. And that trumps how great that sex is. It trumps how good you look. It trumps how well you cook. It trumps it. Because if you don't respect his path or mission in life, it's going to be difficult for him to feel that anxious, anything other than that anxiousness, which creates distance. Okay? So that number 2 is respect. Men need respect in the relationship. Karen says you have to make deposits in order to make withdrawals unless you want an overdrawn account. Come on, overdrawn. They're going to close your account. That's what happened if you're overdrawn too long. Corey Mildred King has joined us. Thank you from Covington, Georgia. Thank you so much. That part, yes. So that number 2 is respect. All right. I'm moving to number 3, and I'm hoping that as you're joining, you're clicking share, tagging 5 of your closest friends, 5 of your more popular friends to join in the discussion with us. All right. We're talking about the 7 things all men need in a relationship. So we said number 2 is respect. Number 3, a sense of sexual connection. A sense of sexual connection. Jason says men and women both connect through sex and communication, but generally, women connect better through communication and men connect better through sex. I hope somebody hears that and understands that. Men and women both connect through sex and communication, but generally women are more likely to connect better through communication and men connect better through sex. Jason says, does this mean that men need to have sex with their intimate partners every day in order to feel connected? Not necessarily. Men, more often than not, connect through indicators of sexual access just as much as they do through sex. Often, a man will initiate sex just to make sure that you are still sexually available to him. So, ladies, partners, if he reaches across the bed for you, show him the willingness to embrace him and be embraced. Show him that you will kiss him deeply. Show him that you will cuddle and spoon and romantically engage with him enough to make him feel connected. Now, the follow through may be all that, right? But even if the follow through is that you fall asleep together, demonstrate that you are sexually available to him. Okay? So there is this lack of awareness on both sides. Men lack the awareness that women need to connect through words. We forget that. And women lack the awareness that men need to connect through sex. And that can sometimes be an unfortunate and rapid downward spiral, is what Jason posits here. She doesn't feel like opening sexually until she feels connected to him. But then he finds it difficult to communicate with her because they haven't been physical with each other. They haven't been physical. And the physical could be the pat on the butt. It could be coming up behind her and pulling her closely into him, right? And that connection opens him up to hear your words. So it's no wonder, at least in the African American diaspora, for those of you that may be without that diaspora, women at a point used to have these beautiful negligee nightgowns, lawn nightgowns that they meet their husbands at the door with. In order for him to really hear what she wanted to say, he needed to just touch and connect with her. He needed to be physical with her, not necessarily, as Karen said, not necessarily penetration. But he needed to know that she was sexually available to him. And I submit, a woman lets a man know that that connection of sex is available. He begins to listen in ways that he hadn't before. Okay? Same thing, men. You can flip it over and say, you want that woman to give you the sex or give you what you need? Listen to her words and actively listen and repeat back to her what she's saying. She says, baby, I just think you're working too hard. Say, baby, I think you're telling me I'm working too hard. Does that mean I'm spending too much time away from my pumpkin? She needs you to validate her words, and that opens her up. And ladies, he needs you to validate his connection, and that opens him up. Talk with your partner, Jason says, and ask what specifically helps them feel the most love so you can avoid unintentional standoffs. You have to connect where they feel the most love. And again, it is a generalization. Women are wooed in part by words. And so when they communicate to you with words, you have to master the speaking of the words back to them. I am not suggesting or recommending that you make a false sense or an insincere statement of words, right, fellas? But you do need to be able to actively listen when she says, baby, I miss you. Or when she says, baby, I don't feel like I felt when we were first married. Remember when we were first married? A woman that's saying that is not saying that to just jog your memory. She's trying to recreate the feeling of that time. She's saying to you, maybe not as clear as you need to hear it, that I want to have that connection we had before. And so you got to hear that and say, hey, baby, what am I not giving you that I gave you in year 2? Now we're in year 15. What do you need from me that I haven't been doing? And when you show her that you're listening, she'll show you that she's willing to be available for connection. Okay. So that's number three. Number three is a sense of sexual connection. It is not necessarily the frequency of sex, it is the availability to sex. And for many men, it's that you still want me. Women are saying, I don't know if he still wants me. Does he know that you still want him and that you are still available to him when he wants to be with you? All right. Those of you that are joining, I hope you will click share. We're talking about the 7 things that all men need in a relationship. Number 4 is emotional intimacy. I know people don't believe men. All of us have an emotional framework and wiring. I would talk to you about limbic resonance and your limbic system and all of your emotions, how in your being you're feeling before you start doing, before you start processing, you're feeling first. But I'm going to go to the emotional intimacy. Okay. And this is, I got to get Jason's last name up here too, but I got this through Dr. William Byron Reese, who has presented in the Love and Stuff community. And I think this is a great topic. And if we get Jason on, we'll dive some more into it. But I want the ladies to know we're sending out a survey to you because we want to talk to you about what are the top 7 things that you say that you need in a relationship for future discussion. And I believe that these are 7 of the things, maybe not all of the things that men need in a relationship, but certainly very important ones. Emotional intimacy is number 4. And as you may know from a very young age, and I agree with Jason here, men are taught to avoid appearing weak at all costs. Perceived weakness includes things like complaining, divulging fears or concerns, and expressing self-doubt or worry. I need you to hear this part, record it, take notes, share it with your girlfriends, your sister girls, your sisters. A man's partner is his safe space to fall. He can expose the cracks in his armor and allow his partner to help him to heal. Just as women need to slowly open up sexually within a relationship, men open up over time emotionally. He needs to make sure that when he first cries in front of you, that you won't be repulsed or repelled or handle it poorly. If you push him away or if you're unable to be nurturing when he needs it the most, he will no longer trust you with his emotions. He might trust you with his sex. He might trust you with his living, but he will not trust you with his emotions. And he will remove himself emotionally from a relationship that will become a business transaction. I pause because I want that to sink in. If a man can't trust you with his emotions, if you're not a safe space, he will withdraw that emotion and still perform the function of the relationship. He will exit emotionally. And in this instance, Jason says, both partners lose, right? He goes on silently suffering and believing that he is flawed in his imperfection, and she is held at arm's length emotionally. That's where the side chick comes in. That's where the girl he can have a beer with comes in, who he can let his hair down with comes in. Because you have made the relationship, or you've allowed the relationship to become a transaction instead of a living, breathing organism wrapped in an emotionally secure space. He will find emotional safety somewhere else. If his mother is not alive, he will find it with someone else who reminds him of that emotional safety. Men are tough, they're strong, they're but they're emotional beings who have taught that it's not safe to reveal those emotions except with those that they can trust. Okay? But women can't use that vulnerability as a weapon later. Sure cannot. Jan Holmes Boyd has joined us. Organic has yielded to manufactured. Yes. It's fragile territory. If you're not safe, it's transactional. Yes. So those that are just joining, we're talking about the 7 things that all men need in a relationship, from an article that a gentleman named Jason has written. And we are going through these 7 things, and we're going to survey the ladies to see what are your top 7 things that you need in a relationship as well. But I think this is a good thing to take notes and compare notes with your sister friends, your girlfriends, your sisters, all of those folks. Okay. So number 4 is emotional intimacy, which we're like, what? A man don't need that. He absolutely does. Number 5, the one that women just don't sometimes understand, he needs space. He needs space. A part of the masculine being is drawn toward independence. And a part of the feminine being is drawn toward intimacy. So you have to have a balance. There is no perfect balance, but it's a balancing act of closeness and separateness. So you may not, must not, please don't, cannot suffocate a man, either by failing him to allow him to have free time, Jason says, or with overly jealous, feminine associated behavior. It's the fastest way to get transactional. Men need breathing room in a relationship. We need time for our hobbies, our homies, time to toil away on our projects and feel fulfilled. And that's not a fulfilling that a woman should try to say, I'm going to be his everything. No. No. Part of his everything needs independence. He's been groomed for it. It is innate to him, just as intimacy is innate for you. So you have to have a balancing act of when there's closeness and when there's time away. And the time away does not mean that there is some separation of the love. His very psyche is designed toward independence. Your goal is to negotiate interdependence. Okay. Jason says, traditionally, when women or the feminine associated partner needs to solve a problem, they would go further into the tribe, connecting with close friends and families and discussing their issues. Conversely, when men have a problem to solve, they would leave the tribe to be alone with their thoughts, to try to figure it out themselves. So sometimes the deep pondering a man has to do alone. And then come back with you and discuss it. Whereas you might call your mama, your sister, your best friend and say, girl, we trying to figure this out. Oh, girl, I did this and I did. That's how you do. But he may decide he needs to have time away first to try to solve it on his own because he's geared toward independence. And you have to respect that and not suffocate it. So let him roam, Jason say. I'm not sure I like the word roam there, but I get it. Let him breathe. I like that one better. Leave him to his own devices, his sports, his cars, his repairs, his whatever. A man will be that much happier for you to receive him when he returns, knowing that you trust him and the strength of your bond enough to let him have his space. And I would just add to that, he goes out and hangs out with the fellas. He goes and watches his favorite sports. When he gets back, if he communicates to you that he wants the sense of connection, connect with him and let him know how happy you are that he's returned and that there is nothing to it. He's returned. That's it. If he wants to share with you what he's done and how much fun he's had, great. No, I know you missed me. What y'all do? Y'all probably just sat around and had a beer. That's all you. No, I hope you had a good time, baby. Come on in here and love me. And if he's open to that, connecting in that way, it will fuel him even the more to know that you trust him and trust your bond enough to let him be. Okay, so that's number 5, right? Number 5 is space. Okay, we're moving to number 6. Which is physical touch. Little different than the sense of connection. I say, Valencia, I say, don't be a nag muffin. That's what I call it. You nag about this, you nag about that, nag, 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 nag. That's the primary advice I give. And yes, I do give advice. I am not a licensed anything, but I am a self-proclaimed love activist. And I just synthesize from good and bad relationships of the people that I've known over all of these years. And one of the things I hear is men are driven mad by nagging. But you see, it's a woman's way of communicating how unsettled she feels about something. And men don't get that. They just see it as nagging. And in a way it is. But it requires that balancing for you to understand. Say back to her, okay, you nitpicking, baby. What's really wrong? Now you done nitpicked about the trash. You done nitpicked about the something's not working. What's really wrong, right? So that you can get to the bottom of it. But women don't do the nag. Men need frequent non-sexual touch as well as a sense of sexual access. Jason says, if a man's partner comes up behind him and touches his neck and hair in a loving way while he sits absorbed in a task, he could feel just as loved as if they had had penetrative sex, depending on his mood, even more so. See, this touch is interpreted as physical love. I love you and I want you to feel happy all the time. Know that I'm always here for you and I care for you deeply. That's what that touch, just brushing against him touch, might mean to him when you initiate that physical touch. Okay? Just rubbing his head and nothing sexual necessarily about it. Just rubbing his head and say, you look like you had a long day. I just wanted to pop in your man cave and just touch you and let you know I'm up here. You need anything to eat, baby? That physical touch means the world to that man. And not every man. There are some men who have some challenges with physical touch. And that's a whole nother pathway of discussion and freedom that you might need to travel for him. So if you notice that your man does not want to be touched at any time, at any point, for anything, nothing that's affirming and touching, there might be a signal to you that something else is going on. Okay. But that's number 6. Okay. It's about the touch. It's about you initiating the touch, not him coming saying, baby, are you available to me? It's you saying, hey, I'm present. Hey, I'm around. I'm just going to walk through the room and brush by you. I'm just going to pop in and say, hey, good looking, and blow you a kiss you on the forehead. I'm just going to grab your hand when you walk past. I'm just going to rub your back. It's the physical touch that's reaffirming to him. His traumas could affect him being able to be touched. Absolutely. 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 Okay. And I'm going to number 7. We're at 9:16. I love these 7 things that all men need. I believe it. And some of the other things I believe that men need are somewhat wrapped and enveloped in these 7 things. But number 7 is security. Most people want certainty in a relationship, Jason says. But the more that a man feels that his partner is in it for the long haul, the more ready and able he is to be able to open up to her, assuming he is equally invested in her. The reason that I kind of try to slow down in reading that, because I think women miss this. One of the things I think women might miss is the security that a man wants to have, and he really needs this fairly early if he's invested in you. He needs you to clear the pathway so that there are no other suitors. He needs some evidence that you are in it for the long haul. And a man typically gathers this pretty quickly. Now, there are men, it takes them a little longer to come around the corner, as it were. But a lot of men want to see, do you mean him well? Are you capable of loving him, who he is at his core? And will he have security and peace with you for the long haul? So if you have habits that he takes note of, and maybe habits you should be taking note of, if you are a strong personality, and you know that in your strong personality, your strength isn't how you land on others. Sometimes you land in an intimidating or aggressive way, and it's not a positive thing. If you are always in mess, always dating multiple people, those are not signs to the average man that you are in it for the long haul. Now, he may take you for a spin, a sexual span, a financial span, a companionship span, but he may not invest for the long haul if you show him behaviors that you are not willing, you are not available for the long haul. A man wants peace and security in a woman in his home. Teresa Marshall's joined us. Carolyn Loving, My Single Arlie, Jerry Turner. Thank you all for joining. I hope you will click, share, and tag some folks to join us. But security goes deeper than just the fact that you won't leave him. Jason says the security that he feels ties back into several of these other points. He feels secure in knowing that you approve of him and where he is in his career. He feels secure and loved when you touch him non-sexually throughout the day. He feels secure when he is allowed to have his guys' night away from you and you don't feel the need to call or text him every half hour to check in. And he feels secure, Jason says, with a partner who takes steps to love him in the ways that he most needs it. I'm going back to the comments. I saw some, oh no, they aren't signs for a woman either. Dating is dating. If it's more, then it's more. Yep. I think they can, I think you're right. I think they can be signs though, Karen. I think they can be signs. I think for some women is my thinking, Karen, that these are not requirements for them. I think women early on may not make all of those requirements of a man. Whereas a man has these requirements, they might be unspoken, but he has these requirements of a woman that raise flags for him. Some women will say they'll meet a man and he might drink a little bit much, and they may say, that might not be a requirement for them, right? Or they might meet a man and know, hey, we're not exclusive, so we're just dating. But some women will say, clear the field. If you're really interested in me, clear your field. Show me that you want to invest in this for the long haul. And when a man sees that about a woman, is what I'm trying to articulate, then he sees the potential for security and peace in his life. When he doesn't see that clearing and he doesn't see that path forward, it's harder for him. Women, in my estimation, make a little bit more excuses and grace and leeway for brothers. Well, we ain't to that point yet. I would push back on that and say, as beautiful as you are, sisters. Now they say this is a shortage of men, but the women have the power. And if you don't know that you have the power, we have to have another conversation. But you got the power. And how you wield that power is all the difference in the world. And so I think sometimes women are a lot more gracious, graceful, benevolent, accommodating, lenient, until it's like, this don't seem to be getting any better. And I think maybe there were signs that told you it wasn't going to get better, right? Sometimes. Whereas I think a man will do the opposite. Just say, well, it ain't going to get better, so I'll take what it is. I ain't going to never marry her because this. But I'll take what it is. I'll have companionship. I'll have somebody to date. I'll have somebody to, do whatever. I'll have somebody to do this. I'll have somebody to that. And to Karen's point, until he finds somebody that he feels he can take for the long haul. A man will stay in a transactional relationship where it is just the connection for him to sex and the stability of companionship for you for years. But he doesn't see it as a long haul because that security is missing. That peace is missing. Some of these other 6 are missing for him. Oh, yeah, he'll keep dating you. He'll take you out on Valentine's Day. He'll take somebody else on the day after Valentine's Day. He'll take you out on Sweetest Day. He'll take you to the movies and smash every time in between if he can. And still say, this is not for the long haul. Because what I really need is missing. And if a man really needs 7 things, he's going to want all 7. And he will, forgive the language, milk you for the 3 that you provide until he finds the other 4. Because it's the long haul. It's the long game that he's holding out for. Yes, Karen. That transactional relationship could work for 10 years. And of course, he could have a transformative experience where he's awakened and said, this is the best person for you. That happens sometimes. But most times it's when 4, 5, 6, and 7 comes up and they got 1, 2, and 3. So it's the full package that he walks away. And he will walk away tomorrow because he's only invested in the transactions. And he can stop the transactions because he's removed his emotional connection. Right? And when he gets the full package, he says, okay, I'm getting married in 2 months. And you're like, we've been dating for 10 years. And yep, you have 1, 2, and 3. He may never articulate it that way, but that's what he's saying. And I've seen so many women who said, and we broke up after 12 years and he got married the next year. I just don't understand. It was transactional for him. Somewhere he withdrew emotionally or one of these other things. One of the things that he needed wasn't there. And he met the person that had all of the things that he wanted. But you are somewhat complicit if you realize, hey, I'm not everything that you want. So why am I staying here? Because if you're in a relationship for 10 years and you say, it's not working for me, I want to be married, then I either not everything that he wants or he's not everything that I want. And so you have to take some charge too, sisters, if you're in that relationship to say, well, it's been 10 years, or it's been 2 years, or it's been 1 year, whatever your time frame is, to say, by now it should be clear to you that I'm everything you need or I'm not, and make a determination. But we say it's a good man, he's a good brother, this, he's just missing this, and I'm gonna hold on to him. He's gonna wake up. He is awake, and he's still looking for those other 4 things. And if you don't present those other 4 things, he's always going to be awake to seeing those, because those are what he needs. And you should want him to get everything that he needs, just as he should want for you to get everything that you need. Yep, he marries the long haul. Yep. Yes. Ali Johnson, Brian joined us. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to Love and Stuff. I think your very first time. Thank you so much. I hope you will click share. We're talking about the 7 things that all men want in a relationship, and we've just completed number 7, and we're at 928. I'm going to repeat them before we go. Number 1, praise and approval. And if you don't remember anything else about this section, I'm sure I will post it somewhere so that you can have it, and maybe we'll have Jason on. These are from his article. Look out the window to praise. Look in the mirror to criticize and critique. Look out the window to praise. Valencia Mama V said, make praise your dialogue in your relationships. Ask yourself, when is the last time I praised my mate? When's the last time I praised my children? My son, right? When's the last time I praised my uncle, my brother? When's the last time I praised leadership, be it at work or church or wherever? Men need praise and approval. Don't say to your man, that little job, that little company, that little side hustle, that little thing, that little hobby, that little basketball team after work. Do not minimize the things that mean something to him. Approve the things that mean something to him. Give approval to him. Confirm his effectiveness or efficacy as your partner. Give praise and approval, and give them broadly. And when you're feeling like you want to give critique, look in the mirror. Look out the window for praise. Look in the mirror for critique. Okay? All right. Number 2, not only does Aretha want RESPECT, but men want it. They want to feel respected. Okay? Respect their being, their personhood, their manhood. If you don't remember anything else from this section, or you can go back and watch it, men feel that respect equals love. So if he feels like you disapprove of him or anything he believes in, his career, he's going to have a hard time trusting and loving you. That's number 2. Number 3, a sense of sexual connection. And we describe this not to mean that he wants to have sex 24/7. He wants to know that you respond to his need for you to be sexually available to him, that you desire him. A sense of that sexual availability. Women, more often than not, connect through communication. Men, more often than not, connect through connection of sex or the availability to it. Okay? Number 4, emotional intimacy. You didn't think men were emotional beings? You didn't think they needed intimacy? What a man needs to know is that he can be with you in a safe space. And if you show him that he is not in a safe space with you, it will create distrust and mistrust, where he will not be able to, if he can't cry, he can't be angry, he can't be frustrated, and he can't share that with you, and you don't respond adversely or negatively, you don't respond as if you're repulsed or in some way turned off, then he won't be able to trust you, and he will withdraw emotionally from you. And he'll continue the relationship as a transaction versus the emotional connection of intimacy that he needs. and he will find that connection somewhere else. The girl around the way, his mama, maybe, the side chick, maybe. What you don't want him to do is starve and disappear in the relationship emotionally, right? Number 5 is space. Give him space and don't give him the business when he wants it. What you give him is the happiest and most joyful return. Women need intimacy. Women are wired for that. Men are wired. We are wired for independence. We need time away. Your gift to him is when he comes back, that the return is a joyful, joyous one and not one of inspection and great inquiry. Okay? 6 is physical touch, which is different than him wanting you to be sexually available. He needs you to touch him. Rub his forehead. Kiss him on the forehead. Pull on his ear. Rub his head after a long day at work. Come in the room and hold his hand. Baby, I just passed through. I know you're just getting off work and having you a quick beer, or if that's what he drinks, or you're just winding down. Did you need anything? I'm going to be upstairs in the kitchen. You want me to bring you anything? Touch his hand. Touch his shoulder. Okay, I appreciate you. Kiss him on the forehead. The physical touch to him symbolizes connection, that he still matters, that you're still present. Okay? And number 7, security. Can he see that you're in this relationship for the long haul? Can he see you with children and his house clean and peaceable? Does he feel like there's some certainty to this relationship? Have you cleared the playing field of all other brothers so that he sees a clearing path for you and him? That is the security that a man needs. It's 9:34 and I'm excited. Tabitha Goodner has joined us. Linda Phillips, thank you all for coming through. Those of you that are, whether you're watching from the Love and Stuff page or inside of Love and Stuff, whether you're watching from the Marcus R. Holmes page, Twitch TV, or YouTube events, we appreciate all of you for being here. I will share this article or this piece of this article as a post on the page and ask you to continue the discussion of these 7 things that all men need in relationship. I think they need so much more, but I think these are great starts for women to take notes, sisters to compare notes, and even brothers to validate with your wives. If their brothers watching, your wife, your girlfriend, your boo, your bae, your significant other, your partner, whomever you are seeking to be in relationship with, they should know what you need in a relationship. And while men aren't always the masters of communicating verbally, I believe we are communicating in our behaviors what we need. Our goal is to be able to articulate it verbally, because that is the way that women communicate best, with words. And so if you can articulate to her coming out of this today, brother, and say, you know, I read through this and I had an epiphany. Baby, I really need you to stop saying that my dream business that I'm doing on the side is my little hustle. I feel disrespected when you call anything about me little. I feel disrespected when you say that ain't going to be nothing. I need you to affirm, praise, and approve what's important to me. I know I might not be the best Christian and I don't get to Bible study. You say, you ain't really serious about God. You don't go to Bible study. Baby, I don't need you to say that. I just need you to encourage me. You're right. Sometimes I'm going to watch football instead of going to Bible study, but I'm going to need you to love me through it. But I don't need you to tear it down. I need you to build me up and walk through in conversation where you see yourself in these 7 things, brother. Start having some conversation with that sister that you love, that beautiful sister, and say, hey, did you know this? I believe this is spot on for me. I need security. I need emotional intimacy. I need you to touch me. I need you when we're having our sexual intercourse. I need you to make me feel like I'm Mandingo. And what do I need to do so that you feel like I'm Mandingo, right? All of these things so that you feel empowered, brothers, to be the best man that you can be. I think that if you are built up in relationship, man or woman, you're going to be a better you. And so why not take note of the things that you need in relationship so that you can find effective ways to communicate them to your partner. So thank you, Jason, for this information. And thank you, Dr. William Byron Reese, for sharing it. And I'm going to share it with you. And before we go, I just want to encourage you to join inside of Love and Stuff. It's a group in the Love and Stuff community. And we're going to have our first event in a couple of weeks where it's going to be online, but you'll get an opportunity to meet the people in Love and Stuff. We want you to meet people in Love and Stuff and be connected to us, whether you are in Uyu, Nigeria, whether you are in Gary, Indiana, whether you are in Houston, Texas, or New York, New York. There's somebody in Love and Stuff that wants to connect with you. And it may not be the connection that you're looking for in the way of this amorous relationship. But what I have found, not just over these 4 years, but over many before that, what I've found is sometimes the best connection is the connector to the connection. I hope that makes sense. And let me say it differently. Sometimes instead of me being connected to the most beautiful person in the world, I need to be connected to the person that might not be for me, who is connected to the most beautiful person in the world. And because I shy away from that connection, which is the connector, I don't get the connection that I want or seek. See, this path down love is growing you and grooming you in connections to connect with different people so that you begin to have more grace for people, right? You might have more tolerance for different types of people. Not tolerance for foolishness, but it might open your eyes to see people differently. And maybe you have to do a little bit of that before you get that connection that you've been praying, fasting, waiting for. Maybe walking out your path of love is bringing you closer to that connection, but don't pass the connector because he or she may be that lane that you need to turn down to get to your main street of love. Come into the Love and Stuff community inside of Love and Stuff group. You get there by going to the Love and Stuff community page on Facebook. Glad we're back up. And go under groups. And there is an inside of Love and Stuff group. It's going to ask you a few quick questions, a few group love rules, and you'll join our group. There'll be wonderful information, exclusive stuff that we do only on the inside of Love and Stuff group. That's why we want you to be there. And we want you to meet more than the love activists. There are some amazing people. I probably did ask God for amazing people in this community, but I think he, as he does, went above and beyond that. There are some truly amazing people who want to just, have you ever met people who just wanted to connect with you and bring you good and not take from you? We have some of those kind of folks in our Love and Stuff community who your life will be better just having had met them. And so I'm excited for that. And I want to remind you, we have several authors, and I got to get some more of their books out here. But one of the books is Pastor Valencia Edner, Mama V, in our community. Little Fires Everywhere, Pandemic Protests, Politics and Power is a book that she co-authored, is available. You can go to theencourageministries.com to get this book. Of course, the Love and Stuff community's Gratefulness Journey every day. What are you doing in the next 30 days to transform your life is available. Tabitha Gooden, I saw her earlier. She has a book. I got to get a copy of that so we can showcase it. And Ingrid Poole and authors. We're going to have to do an authors roundup. So we want you to support the Love and Stuff community. Two things before we go. Sweetest Day is coming up, and we have a special new product offering that's coming your way. It will be a limited offering, so look for that very soon. We have a partner who is in the body butter space, and Love and Stuff is going to have some special body butters for you. And so we want you to get in on the exclusive before anybody else gets to these body butters. And this month, as you know, it's National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we have a breast cancer awareness t-shirt that you will see coming on the Shopify store very soon. Proceeds of that are going to go to breast cancer awareness. And so we'd love for you to support that effort as well. We're so grateful for all of you that have come across all platforms. Love and Stuff community on Tuesday nights and throughout the community couldn't be a community without your presence. And we hope that if you've enjoyed any part of the content that you've experienced tonight, that you will accept our call to action, which is for you to click share now and tag 5 of your closest Facebook friends, 5 of your more popular Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch TV. I keep saying Twitter, Twitch TV, YouTube friends to connect with us at the Love and Stuff community. Click that bell at the top of this so that you can be notified each Tuesday night. You don't even have to be reminded except for that bell. And we just come live throughout the weeks, not too many times. So you won't be getting a ton of notices, just the main one that would happen on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here live with me. I'm Marcus Holmes, the love activist. And before I sign off, I want to ask you this. Do you know what you need in relationship? Have you ever sat down with yourself and said, what do I need in the relationships that I have today? You see, I suspect that we're giving to our relationships. We're being in relationship with other people, but we're not taking inventory of what we need back. What fills you up? Is it connection? Is it sex? Is it companionship? Is it praise? Is it approval? Is it emotional intimacy? Is it a spiritual connection? Is it peace? Is it security? I want you to spend some time this week with yourself, asking yourself, what do I need from my relationships? Write it down and then begin to work on how you can articulate it to your partners in relationship so that they will hear what it is that you say that you need. I'm Marcus Holmes. I challenge you to seek a better love. I challenge you to increase the amount of love in this world by starting with yourself, by looking above. As a man of faith, I challenge you to seek the creator that is God, who is love, whose brand presence is love, who is awaiting a love relationship, intimate one with you. And then I challenge you as you seek to learn to love him and love him back and love him well with everything you have, that you find a path to loving yourself, what I call the neglected love, so that all of these relationships that you're managing and attempting to master, that you will be well able and well equipped to love them better. Thank you so much for joining us. What a great show. I hope that you will meet us next Tuesday night right here on Love and Stuff.